Hello and welcome everybody. Randy Replay back, Minnesota Vikings football back here on the SSN and on your little airwaves. The Minnesota Vikings play host to the Baltimore Ravens this week, and returning from injury is Travis Parker. We have a bunch of things to get to before kickoff, so we're going to rifle through these really quick. The practice squad is now filled out. The Minnesota Vikings have signed left end Trey Hendrickson to the practice squad. Cornerback Justin Burris, or Justin Burris, however you want to look at it, and cornerback Howard Wilson. There also was a wide receiver that was signed, 96 speed Jakeem Grant. So 4 players in total, and we now have a full practice squad. Travis Parker returns from injury. Him and Justin Sandman will lead the charge, hopefully, as Smeagol was injured last game. Not enough to keep him out of this one, but his play will be watched very closely. Zachary Anderson still out with the shoulder tear. He's out for 3 more weeks. We'll get him back on the other side of the bye week. And then for the Ravens, they don't have any injuries. Must be nice. So still rolling into this week with only 3 cornerbacks on roster. The Minnesota Vikings are going to have to do a lot of zone defenses and try to catch this Ravens team in some weird situations. So our 3 cornerbacks on roster that are not injured are Matthew Arnsdorf, Aaron Nelson, and Robert Nichols, who does have interceptions this season. At least 2 that I can recall. Matthew Arnsdorf, Aaron Nelson have 0, so looking for their first ones. Couple things. The Baltimore Ravens are very good at open field space, and the Minnesota Vikings struggle this season with open field tackling and just tackling in general. We have to get the right calls in on defense in the right situations, and this game needs to be a win. As you can see, we are 2-4. They are 4-2, and we sit in 3rd place, well, really tied for 2nd place in the division, behind those pesky Packers. Looking ahead, we get back here at home against the Ravens. Then we go to London against the Browns. Now, mandatory, if you travel to London, the next week is your bye week, so we will be seeing a Week 9 bye after the Browns. We're going to get you ready for kickoff here at US Bank Stadium. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you at halftime.
I'm Larry Ridley, and you're tuned in to Madden 18 on EA Sports. Today's game will feature a team that loves getting it done through the air. The Vikings are top 10 in passing TDs, and they go up against the Ravens defense that will need to be on its game. With that, it's time to hook up with our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
EA Sports coverage takes us to one of the newest jewels on the NFL landscape, US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a short time ago, this crowd decked out in purple, and they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. We're ready for football, folks, as the Vikings get set to do battle with the Baltimore Ravens. Hi again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And Charles, you look at this Vikings ball club. And losers their last time out, so they'll look to make amends here.
And one of the best ways you can do that is to be at home, and they are. They're going to try and ride that home crowd and that wave of emotion to a victory in this one.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Ravens, they've come in on a nice run of recent form, 4 wins out of 5.
And the offense, my goodness, over 50 points in the win last weekend. When you do that, you're not going to lose very many games, maybe not any games.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. So here come the Ravens now, ready to get the football for the first time. The MVP of Super Bowl 47 leading his crew out there from Delaware, it's Joe Flacco.
That was a solid performance last week, wasn't it? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, ran the team well, won the ball game. Bottom line, may not have been earth-shattering, but it didn't need to be.
They go play action here on first down. That's caught out left by Perriman. And he's going to be out of bounds right at midfield. A really good pickup of 28 yards. And early on, they're picking up right where they left off last week.
And I know a lot of coaches say each game is its own. You don't really have carryover. This feels like carryover. So much confidence from the previous game that they're using to their advantage now.
Here's Flacco. And this is caught. Jeremy Maclin. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41. The numbers there in last week's effort for Maclin. 4 catches, 76 yards.
And you know what he did all week in preparation for this one? Hydrated.
Salivated.
Yes, stretched, dreamed, going against the last team in the league against the pass.
Yeah.
He expects to catch every one thrown today.
You're right. They have struggled 32 of 32 in that category. The numbers last week for T. West. Very productive. 3 touchdowns, 2 of them on the ground, 1 through the air.
And it will always be a compliment to say that a guy's got a nose for the end zone, and he sure had it last week.
On the ground, it's West again. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down. And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here. From the gun, Flacco. Looking left side, it's complete. He's got it. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. First down and 10 now for the offensive group. This is West. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a second and just about a few inches here. This running game's so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead them to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity, and that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week, and right now we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
Well, that was a unit that understood exactly where the first down marker was, handed it to their guy who could run it, created some space, and he got there.
Here's West. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Terrence West with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Ravens take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive. Looking sharp on that first drive. These guys, of course, coming off back-to-back victories, and you see that kind of advancing into this game, don't you?
You certainly do, and when you have a team that doesn't get too full of itself, even though they've won 2 games in a row, you get the end result that we saw there, that nice opening drive, because they're sharp, they're focused, and they're locked into everything that they're doing.
So here's the Viking offense making their way out. And a glance here at the man calling the plays under center, their 6'4" quarterback. This one up to the 26. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. See if they stay on the ground for 2nd down.
Let's go. 3-19.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Tyus Bowser coming hard on the blitz. He dumps him for a loss of 8.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye. That happened fast and a big sack.
Now let's go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
And he motions the wide receiver. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Hard throw, incomplete.
Trust me, Brandon, I'm not about to try and take your job. I can't do what you do. But that wasn't just 3 and out. That felt like 3 and backwards.
That's exactly what it was. You can have my job whenever you want it. The drive that you're looking for, though, probably going forward. Bad start to the ball game.
Yeah, not the way to get things going.
Oh, and now he bowls him over. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And the Ravens, they'll take over.
There's plays, too. Eyes up, head up, run right through him.
3rd and long for Joe Flacco. And incomplete. A disappointing drop there defensively by the rookie. And now 4th down.
They didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer, I think in this situation, you're either throwing it at the feet of your back to make sure no one picks it off, or you throw it away. Throw it over the sideline. Don't try.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. He's got his tight end on the corner route. It's complete. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
All right, I'm doing my rudimentary math here. That's his 3rd catch here in the 1st quarter. I don't know if it's just game plan or he's just finding his way open.
And maybe a little of both.
All right, here we go. 3-19.
And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
It's really simple to say that they know their identity, that they are a passing team. But one of the reasons that they're so successful, they know how to mix in the run and make sure that they keep the defense off balance and not able to just simply say, let's go get the quarterback and disrupt things.
Slot, and a big loss here as he's taken down. Benson Mayowa in there to get him, and that's sack number 6 for him on the year. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? The quarterback gets hit.
9th play of the drive now on 3rd and a country mile.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
They'll drop to throw. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Tavon Young. And the return goes up to his own 17-yard line. Now after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. Down and 2. And the defense searches for one more stop here after the run on 2nd down. On 3rd down. That's West. Oh, and now West lost the football. It's out.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And did they keep it in? They did. They kept it in. It's down close to the goal line at the 1-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And this is a unit that, to be frank, doesn't look like they've woken up yet. I mean, a punt and a turnover on their first 2 drives.
And I think the game's starting to take shape a little bit now. And I'm going to take it into the basketball world. When you're having trouble scoring or moving the ball in basketball, what do? Get it to their best player, right? Find a matchup, create it, exploit it, and try and move the football.
And he'll be out of bounds, getting it across the 25. Big yardage there on the scramble through the air and a 1st down. They'll run it now out of the gun. They find some open field here. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another 1st down.
The reason than to tamp down the pass rush. They can't let them just tee off and get to their quarterback.
He's got his man on the crossing route. It's a big one there for the Vikings. 42 yards.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. Only a yard that time. 2nd and goal. Looking to throw. This will be caught at about the 5. Only able to pick up 2, and that leads us to 3rd and goal. So a little extra time to think about this 3rd and goal as we're through 1. 7-0 is our score. We're back to Minneapolis in just a moment.
The NFL on EA Sports is presented by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. 2nd quarter begins with the Vikings holding the football, and they'll come up looking to keep this drive moving. And this offense on 3rd down today, just 1 for 3 thus far. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. They'll set up a throw. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Well, that's about as quick of a passing touchdown as you'll ever see right there. Rematch Falcons, Charles, at Foxborough to take on the Patriots.
Super Bowl 51.5, anyone?
Then on Monday night, that's no slouch either. An NFC East battle between the Redskins. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you're getting 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job. But when you hold it and give up a sack, you're really almost discrediting their work.
Setting up to throw, Flacco.
So, Brandon, we've sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively,
he's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Fielded at the 33. 35 yards on the return. Picked up some good blocks as well.
But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his.
Play-action fake. They'll look to throw. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota.
A good tight end is a heck of a weapon for any quarterback, especially when you're able to create some mismatches. Sometimes they work against a linebacker. Sometimes they work against a smaller defensive back. But when they find it, they go to it, and it often results in touchdowns. Enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape.
And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Benjamin Watson.
Yes, because you got to get his attention, because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space, and he found the right spot for the completion.
Wide open receiver complete. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Vikings are going to take the lead. So that's the rookie's first trip to the end zone, and I think it's safe to say one he'll always remember.
Oh, without a doubt, that one is going to be imprinted forever. And nowadays, we're seeing rookies make a greater impact at that position at receiver than ever before. I think mainly because of the sheer volume of footballs that they catch in college.
Now a handoff as they run left side. He knocks him back, and they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. And a nice carry there of 15 yards. Now a play fake here on first down. And he finds a man on a crossing route. That one goes for 24 yards. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the first half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you know, you always want to keep that up and feel like you can always bounce back after plays. But with the kind of numbers he's putting up here, it's starting to wear on him a little bit, I think.
And his kick is good. And that will push the lead up to double digits now at 10. Doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback that has to slide and find open space to throw.
Here we go. Let's do this. Here's your first half highlights.
Well, hello and welcome everybody to your halftime break. This is Randy Replay. Back at it again here. The Minnesota Vikings have a 10-point lead, 24-14 going into the half. Obviously, could have made it a little bit more aggressive there towards the end of the half, but on our last drive with that third down, I don't know why they audibled out of the run, but they did, and Smeagol just was able to just get the ball away and complete pass, even though he was in the tackle box. Might have even been a tuck rule if he held onto it. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, 21-6, New Orleans lead. Michael Thomas, 4 catches, 50 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So that'll be interesting to watch as we inch closer to the top of the division. So be sure to watch that ticker down at the bottom of the screen here in Week 7. Game stats. We're going to get into these game stats, just your leaders, and then we will get you back to action here at US Bank Stadium for the Vikings. Smeagol enters the half with a 135.8 QB rating, near perfect. 17 for 20, that is 85% completion percentage for those of you that don't know how to do math or didn't look over here. Now that is longest pass of 59 yards, but most of these passes are inside of 15 yards. So, I mean, guys are getting open. Maybe that's just the bread and butter. Dink and dunk and run it when you need to. 242 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 1 mistake, the interception in the game. On track for another 5-touchdown day and 500 yards. So we'll see what happens here. Rushing, Justin Sandman has taken over this game. 5 carries for 23 yards. Travis Parker in his first game back. 5 carries, 19 yards, despite wanting to be limited by the coaching staff. Receiving, it is Luis Gonzalez leading the team in receptions, 4 for 51, although it's Jesse Peterson with the touchdown, his first of his career, 2 for 64. Of course, he had that big 59-yard catch and run for the touchdown. Luke Slazewski also has a touchdown. He has 2 catches, 22 yards, and Travis Lee with his first NFL touchdown, despite having a 93-yard receiving game just a couple games ago in Chicago. 1 for 7 for Travis Lee. Nobody cares about blocking, so we're going to go to defense and look at total tackles. And it's Jerry Myers with 7. Oh, my goodness. Danny Pickering with 4. Josh Fitzer, Otis McMillan, and Tevin Fair with 3. Tackles for loss, we have had 5 by Josh Fitzer, Danny Pickering, Justin Lewis, Otis McMillan, Aaron Nelson. Sacks, we have 2. One of them by Otis McMillan, and the other split by Poi Tralamalu and Scott Rethel on that weird play where Joe Flacco ran into his own lineman, and we had somebody spying for some reason. and he just didn't rush the quarterback. Interceptions, we have 0, although we do have a pass deflection by Robert Nichols in the first. He also had, there's the pass deflection. We do have a forced fumble by Danny Pickering, recovered by the Baltimore Ravens. No blocks, no safeties, and no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings. Brandon Baker is perfect. He is 1 for 1. That is 100% from 31, and he is 3 for 3 on extra points. Punting, Taylor Pauline, 1 for 54. Now in the first half, we do see some struggles with open field tackling. It hasn't been as bad as recent weeks, as the team is actually playing very good, only allowing the Baltimore Ravens, I do believe, 7 points. Yeah, 7 points in each quarter. That is the lowest amount of points surrendered in the first half by any team against the Minnesota Vikings so far this season. We do have a turnover that brings us to -9 in the take-give here in the first half. Didn't score any points in the first, but in the second quarter, we scored all of our 24 points. So very, very interesting to see what's going to transpire. The Minnesota Vikings get the ball back, and we will see you after the game, where I can hopefully call the Minnesota Vikings win. So far, so good. Need to get Derek Fahey and Sam Gable and Daniel Henricks involved, as they only have 1 carry apiece, and not looking too good here in the running game for them, but I'm sure they'll get him involved here. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you after the game.
Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Flush to his right. Going right side here, and that's complete. A good pickup there, a 22. On the offensive end.
Can you imagine what the grease board looks like at the half? Because
tell me.
That's exactly what they printed up.
Well, this is taken in. It's complete. 20, 10, and all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Jeremy Maclin.
At the point of attack, and on that play, that was all the defense. They made it happen.
Now back to throw. Looking for his tight end on the corner. It's complete. And he takes this one all the way across midfield into enemy territory down to the 40-yard line.
300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
Back to throw. A 50-50 ball here, and it's intercepted. Picked off here by Jimmy Smith. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Brandon, these cornerbacks had their hands full all afternoon long, but they finally get a measure of revenge as he gets himself in a nice spot. He's able to get 2 hands on the football and pick it off.
They start on the ground with West. And now where are they going to mark him here? Well, they say he did get back to the 1-yard line, but that could have easily been 2 points the other way.
The defense just stopped the offense for no gain, but that was really a football 101 call by both sides. The defense crowded the line expecting to run, and the offense did exactly what they were supposed to, try to wedge a little bit of room and get out of the shadow of their own goal line. They didn't do that. Now if you trust your quarterback, you might take a shot on play action and throw the football. Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. Here's Sam Cook now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. So a short drop, but he's able to get it out, and this is a good kick. Taking it about the 36. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And this offense, they're going to have...
Let's go! 3-19! Detroit! Back 99 Philly! Here we go!
They'll look to throw. And for a right side here, complete. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 15, just shy of the 10. 23 yards on the play. And now inside the red zone, the offense will operate.
Back nine! Detroit! Detroit! All right, here we go!
They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. They'll set up to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. After the sack, he's still down on the field. And his kick is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This to make it a 2-score game. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And that will make this a 9-point lead. On 2nd down, Flacco to throw. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Operating out of the gun, Flacco. And this is caught. Touchdown, Baltimore. Crockett Gilmore, his 2nd touchdown on the season. To the bunch. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They go play action here on 1st down. He's going to float this one deep right side. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. They fake the handoff. Now Flacco to pass. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Flacco here on 2nd down. Under pressure again, and down he goes again.
And quickness, that defensive line is eating them alive.
3rd and long for Joe Flacco. They'll drop it underneath for Woodhead. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. Now they'll run it on the toss. And they're going to get this one all the way out across the 45. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. So after that big play, let's see if they can catch their defense maybe on their heels. And they'll run it here. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. Whistles now and a timeout. So defensively, they burn it here with 1:51 left. And here comes play number 6 on this drive. Now they'll run it on the toss. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. And now the Ravens are going to take another timeout. That'll be their 2nd, so one more chance to stop the clock here. And we'll be back. The last 2 plays, each lose a yard. They'll try to move forward here on 3rd and 12.
Set. Green, 39.
They'll drop to throw. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. The Vikings send out their punter as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And this will be out of bounds. Now it's a question of where they'll mark it. And they'll say it crosses at the 11-yard line. Now Joe Flacco and the offense heading back out onto the field. This is something we've seen many times over the course of his career. Can he pull off another 4th quarter comeback?
And it's very strange, isn't it? Because when it's a player of this magnitude, even though the guys on defense have the lead and are sitting in the best spot, they're maybe the most nervous people in the stadium because they've seen this happen to too many people before, too many teams. They've got to find a way to shut him down.
Here we go again for the grizzled vet. Back to throw. And, oh, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off right around the 43. And he'll return this one just shy of midfield to the 49. And he'll give it here to his running back. There he goes inside the 30. And he's across for the touchdown. And in the final minute, that should just about seal it.
And that touchdown should make you feel comfortable. But do you really feel like it's totally over yet?
Not totally, but I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah, you've still got to make sure you stay with it, do all the right things.
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. Short play like that in this situation this late, that's a win for the defense.
No doubt. I remember something Coach Madden used to talk about all the time.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Flacco, a veteran in these situations, hurrying his guys up. One last gasp for Flacco. He's going to let it fly. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off at the 36. And that will write a finish to this ball game. Well, I know at points in this when you wanted to close your eyes because of all the points that were being put on the scoreboard, you're a defensive guy, but it was a fun little track meet, wasn't it?
It was, and you know the people really enjoyed this game? They're the ones that like going to batting practice at the Major League Baseball parks, right? Seeing the 14-11 game, that sort of deal, that's right up their alley with what we saw in this one.
So for Minnesota, they fall a game under 500 now at 3 up and 4 down. And they will hit the road next week for a date with the Cleveland Browns. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, the loss drops them back to 4-3 so far. And they will be at home next week to take on the Miami Dolphins. So that's a wrap. For Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. It's a win for the Vikings as we say so long from Minneapolis.
And with that so long, we welcome you back up here into the broadcast booth. Randy Replay. Very, very good game by the Minnesota Vikings. It was very, very hostile on the radio side of the simulcast. You let the TV guys take over here on the SSN, but I was really sweating there in the fourth quarter. They come back within 3, and the defense just holds with Robert Nichols sealing the deal on his 3rd interception of the season. And then when they're going down the field, it is Jerry Myers who gets his 2nd interception on the year and really seals the deal here for this game, puts the cap on it. And then, actually before that, in between the interceptions, there was a Justin Vanderschaaf touchdown. Big run by him. That will put him into the lead of running yards in this game. What a team victory. You got to like this this team that's going forward here this season. Smeagol. Quarterback rating of 108.2. We're going to get into these stats, rather. 25 of 35. That is 71% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here. 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 2 interceptions. Of course, both of those turning into points by the Ravens defense. Justin Sandman Vanderschaaf, 11 carries, 100 yards even, and 1 touchdown. He now has a touchdown in every single game. And I do believe 4 out of 7, of his games are now 100 yards or more. Insane day for him. The rest of the running team did not have such luck. Travis Parker, in his game back from injury, now has 9 carries for 21 yards. That puts him at 11 carries for 26 yards on the season. Just to put it, or 27 yards, sorry. Just to put it into perspective. He did have a couple broken tackles. Longest run of 15. So that was insanity. Of course, the longest run of the day goes to Justin on the 45-yard touchdown run. Daniel Hendricks, 5 for 28. Sam Gable, 4 for 39. Derek Fahey, 4 for 8. Matthew Peterson, 2 for 2. Getting those conversions when we need him to. Smig, 1 for 25 in the first half. Receiving, it was Luis Gonzalez running away with this one. 8 catches, 99 yards. No touchdown, though. You like to see a touchdown with those kind of stats. Darian Wilson, 3 for 88. He was a deep threat in this game, as he was in Chicago. Travis Parker, 2 for 5. Josh Gable, 2 for 6. Luke Slazewski, 2 for 22 and a touchdown. Jesse Peterson, 2 for 64 and a touchdown. Lou Wang, 2 for 21. Cameron Quick, 1 for 23. Travis Lee, 1 for 7 with a touchdown, channeling his inner Randy Moss. Now, for those of you that don't know, you get as many touchdowns as receptions. You channel your inner Randy Moss. Matthew Peterson, 1 for 2. Anthony Bisbee, just 1 catch for 15 yards. The only wide receiver who did not have a catch today, Blake Letellier. Now, he was in the game. He was in a lot of snaps. I do believe he played as much as anybody, but just didn't get a catch or any yards. So, very interesting to see what the team will do with him going forward. I don't know. I really don't. Nobody cares about blocking, so we're going to go to defense. Look at total tackles, and Jerry Myers led the team with 8 tackles. Oh, by heavens. Danny Pickering with 6, Rashid Spinks with 5. Hey, look, Robert Nichols also had 5. Josh Fitzer with 4, Otis McMillan with 4, Scott Rethwell, Matthew Peterson, Luke Slazewski, Poy Tralamalu, Matthew Arnsdorf, Tevin Fair with 3, Thaddeus Rosu, Leo Neal, Josiah Russell, Justin Lewis, Thomas Cross, Aaron Nelson with 2, Drew Ward, Brandon Baker, Jeremy Lindsey, Ryan Buelow, Daniel Nothey, Dan Nothey, however you want to say it, Jacob Pickering, Terrell Oliver, Paul Fritchie, Richard Southey, Travis Lee, and Alex Boone, each with 1. Tackles for loss, we added a bunch here in the second half, as this defense has just locked down. Jacob Pickering, Leo Neal, Josh Fitzer, Matthew Arnsdorf, Danny Pickering, Justin Lewis, Otis McMillan, Aaron Nelson, and Rashid Spinks each have a tackle for loss in this game. Sacks, hey, we added like 5 more here. Drew Ward, Jeremy Lindsey, Ryan Buelow, Josiah Russell, Otis McMillan, each with 1, and then Poy Tralamalu and Scott Rethwell each combined on 1 to give us 6 sacks on the day. Interceptions in the second half, we had 2 by Jerry Myers and Robert Nichols, each returned for 11 yards and 5 yards respectively. We had 2 pass deflections by Robert Nichols in the game, 1 forced fumble by Danny Pickering, no fumble recoveries, block kicked by Aaron Nelson, a blocked extra point, which would have made this game a 2-point game, rather, going down that final stretch. Safeties, no defensive safeties, although we had a couple chances. We just didn't get the penetration from the defensive line. Touchdowns, no defensive touchdowns for your Minnesota Vikings. Brandon Baker in this game, he was perfect. 3 for 3 on extra points, or field goals, with the longest of 48 to really put us in the lead. 4 for 4 on extra points. Punting, Taylor Pauline was a busy beaver in the second half. He had 4 punts, 188 yards, netting 162, 2 of them inside the 20. Kick returns, it was Jesse Peterson led the charge with 2 for 52, longest of 29. Justin Sandman Vanderschaft, 2 for 49 for 25 yards of long. Robert Nichols had a really good game. 5 punt returns for 79 yards, 35 being the longest. Now, to get back to the main screen and learn about our fate in the division, I do believe, looking at the ticker down below, the Bears lost and the Packers lost. But we have not checked in with the Packers game in a while. We're going to get back to the main screen, do that, and preview next week in London against the Cleveland Browns. This has been Randy Replay. Once again, your Minnesota Vikings victorious over the Baltimore Flock of Ravens, 37-27. I'll see you in just a moment. Woo! Hello, and welcome back to the main screen. This is Randy Replay welcoming you back to the main screen. The Minnesota Vikings this week on the trade deadline. I don't think any trades are going to happen here with the team unless something really, really goes bad. We did have 4 injuries in the game against the Ravens. We will take a peek and see who was injured and if they're out for any remaining time. The Minnesota Vikings now travel to London to take on the 1-6 Cleveland Browns. On paper, this looks like a victory to move to 4-4, but this is the NFL. You're not at your home stadium, or you're not in any stadium you've ever been in. Of course, we are overseas, across the pond, as it were, Randy Replay would like to say. 9:30 a.m. kickoff, going to be a good one. So getting to the team, this was a very, very good win. Darian Wilson with the wide receiving lockdown. I would give it to Justin Sandman Vanderschaft. We're actually going to go into his stats for the season, and we're going to see if I was correct. Now, I do believe... Okay, so 1, 2, 3... 3. I said 4, but it was 3 out of the 7 games. 95 yards, that was the kicker. Okay, so 3 out of the 7 games he has played, he has had 100 plus, and 2 games he did multiple touchdowns, and 2 games he has not scored a touchdown. So tough sledding here for the Minnesota Vikings. Longest run of the season was an 82-yard run. I'm not sure what game that was in. It is not telling us here. Also receiving. Hasn't really been a big receiver, but that's not what he's paid for. Smeagol, on the other hand, what about that? At one point, threatened to be benched. He's now the starter. And just playing out of his mind. Okay, so Zachary Anderson's still out with the shoulder tear, 2 weeks. That will be on the other side of the bye week for the Washington game. Okay, so we're at Washington there in week 10. So that is when Zachary Anderson will return. Now, for the Browns, I know they... Never mind. I can't say anything. Okay, so no injuries. Good job. Good job. So in the division now, the Minnesota Vikings sit all alone in second place as the Packers lost, the Lions lost, and the Bears lost. Oh my goodness. What a turn of events here. Everybody in the division except your Minnesota Vikings take an L here in week 7. Now, moving into week 8, we're going to see who the Packers have, because this is still anybody's division here. If we lose, the Lions win, and the Bears win, we're back back tied for second place. Okay, so we do have the Browns. The Packers have their bye week. Okay, so the Packers are bye week. So this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. The rest of the division... The Bears are at the Saints, who just beat the Packers in Lambeau. So, weirder things have happened in the NFL, but this on paper looks like a loss for the Bears. And then the Steelers are at the Lions Stadium, the Ford Field there, Sunday Night Football. So week 8 is shaping up to be one of the better weeks here this season, as now the Vikings have a chance to sit tied with the Packers. If we win in London, we move to 4-4 and are now tied with the Packers. Of course, we will be underneath them because of the division loss to them earlier in the season. So, still tied atop the NFC North. That is the goal. The Vikings are working on a game plan and a strategy against this Browns defense. So, this has been Randy Replay. Once again, your Minnesota Vikings victorious. Now, I don't know if it was the Minnesota Twins winning or if it was something the coaches said, but we snapped the 1-game losing streak to the Packers. We come back and we score 37 points. And this team has allowed 7 points in each quarter, 6 in the fourth. That is the least amount of points we have allowed all season. So 27. Okay, so we tied there, 27. 55, 41, 52 in the late night crazy game against the Bears. So, yeah, I mean, that is tied for lowest amount of points we have let a team score. So, Randy Replay, gonna see ya in the next one, where we face the Browns over the sea. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you in the next one.